I woke up every morning with absolutely no energy to even lift up my bed sheets. From the moment I opened my eyes, I was battling a brain fog that felt like static from a TV. I was unable to focus or display my own thoughts. It felt as if I just ran a marathon, although I'm not a runner, but actually I'm a physician, yet I was unable to diagnose my own struggles. Among my friends, my nickname was Mr. I'm Always Drained, and that pissed me off. And none of the things I learned in medical school could explain this constant fatigue. As years went by, I kept blaming my fatigue on my aging body, until a special gathering on Thanksgiving 2020, when I was invited to a dinner at a friend's house in Miami, Florida. Across from me on the table was Dr. Rudy. He was a physician I had just met at the dinner. He was a middle-aged, originally from Haiti, with curly black hair and framed eyeglasses. One conversation to another, I started telling Dr. Rudy how I felt. Honestly, I did not expect much from that conversation. A few minutes later, he waited until I stopped nagging, and he glanced up, looked at me, pushed his eyeglasses onto his forehead, and said, Labib, of course with a Haitian accent, I think you need to check your testosterone levels. Testosterone, or T, is a hormone or a chemical messenger that is found in men and women, and it plays a key role in maintaining our health as we age. So of course I nodded politely and thanked Dr. Rudy for his words, but later I was thinking, testosterone, me, I was only 46 years old at the time, and I felt this was not right. It doesn't fit with what I know, with what I learned. So on the way back home, I kept thinking about what he said, and his word really stuck with me like a pebble in my shoe. And quite suddenly, I became curious. So let's talk about curiosity. So think back when you were 5 or 6 years old. Our favorite hobby was to ask why. Everything was new. We wanted to climb trees. We wanted to explore the attic, invent creative stories. So life was like an adventure, and we wanted to discover every aspect of this life until we're sent to school. So in school, we were taught how to become productive members of the society. So we learned the rules of math, the rules of science, the rules of language, and of course the rules of behavior. And don't get me wrong, this is a great thing. Rules and systems make our life easy. But here's the problem. When we try to master these rules, we lose our innate curiosity. We become so focused on just passing in an exam or finishing an assignment that we lose our sight of asking and exploring. As we transition into our adulthood, the daily life demands also diminish more our curiosity. So for example, I'm a physician. I'm deeply immersed in a field where following exact rules will make a difference between life and death. As doctors, we learn a lot of rules. We go and study for many years before we even touch a patient. We learn time-tested methods and procedures, and of course, this is for a good reason. At the end, we deal with human life. So if you or someone from your family gets sick and you want to go see a doctor, you want to go see a person who is well-trained in the facts of medicine. You don't want to go see someone who has not had such training. And the same applies if you want to buy a house, or you want to put your money in a bank, or fly in an airplane. You want to be in the hands of trained professionals. So we all agree now that systems and rules make our life easy, more comfortable. But here's the downside. Systems and rules are inherently non-progressive. By that I mean they are not flexible. Sometimes they're hard to change. They resist change. And life in of itself is change. So throughout history, the human path has been one of progress and improvement. Look back, we used to live in caves, and now we live in modern houses. We used to hunt, and now we shop in supermarkets. We used to die from a simple infection, and now we can live past a century. So every advance that humans have done was the result of our curiosity. We were able to capture energy from sunlight by inventing solar panels. You were curious about communicating more easily. We have text messaging and we have emails. So our curiosity took us all the way up to space and deep down into the oceans. So curiosity is the remedy for change. And because of my curiosity, I changed my life. Actually, I'm going to rephrase this. Curiosity saved my life. So the next morning after that Thanksgiving dinner, of course, I went straight to the lab and got my blood drawn. Waited few hours, and my results confirmed Dr. Rudy's hunch. My T was indeed low. So I had no idea why my testosterone was low. I wanted to figure out why my testosterone was low. I started exploring reasons behind that. I ate a healthy diet, so I thought. I slept well, I exercised. So based on the rules, I should have just shrugged it off, maybe taken a pill or an injection and trusted the system. But of course, deep inside, I was not convinced. I had so many questions. This spark of curiosity kept telling me, I need to find out why did this happen, how we can fix it. So I started exploring reasons behind my low testosterone, and what I found was nothing short than mind-blowing for me. It was not a fluke of nature that my results were low. This actually led me down to more discoveries. So through a lot of research and endless nights of reading, I discovered the invisible world of environmental toxins, which I had not been too familiar with throughout my whole medical career. So toxins or environmental toxins surround us. And some of them, and I stress that some of them, can harm us. They can cause damage to our mind and our bodies by one of the mechanisms is disrupting our hormones, and specifically our sexual hormones. So the word toxin, if you originally look at the word toxin, it means poison that's made by plants or any living beings. Today, when we say toxins, we mean any harmful chemical, whether it's made in nature or by humans in factories. So I'd like to talk about one of the toxins, phthalates. So phthalates are toxins or are chemicals that are found in plastic. They make plastic more durable and flexible. And they are found in our everyday products, from shampoos to lotions to perfumes and even detergents. And listen to this, around 90% of us have phthalates in our blood. And this is because it gets into our body through things we eat, breathe, or put on our skin. So phthalates have been associated with multiple health issues, and notably, one of them is disrupting our hormones or making us unable to produce testosterone. Another chemical is bisphenol A or BPA. BPA is found in plastics and in food containers, for example. And the problem with BPA is it can seep into our food and our drinks, and it can cause also disruption in our hormones and also increases the risks of cancer. One last toxin is glyphosate. Glyphosate is a weed killer. It's used in farms and gardens to keep the crops longer and healthy. And the sad news about glyphosate is that it can also mess up with our hormones and cause gut issues. This actually hit home. I did further testing, and I checked my glyphosate levels, and my glyphosate levels were up through the roof. Yes, the same stuff we just talked about, glyphosate that you saw, was in my system, and it was probably causing what I was feeling. So glyphosate can be found here, which we all eat quite regularly. It can be found here, and it can be found, sorry, here. So now, I wanted to change my lifestyle. So after this discovery, I tried to cut down on my exposures. Of course, it was not easy. It took time, but it was worth it. So if we talk about toxins in general, toxins can enter our body through things we do on a daily basis. So it's very important to try to take steps, and baby steps. You don't have to change everything in your life. I took some baby steps. I learned a lot of new things by doing this, and it did change my life. Now I feel more energetic, I'm healthier, I don't get as much brain fog as I used to get. I want to leave you with 5 simple actions. One of them is to kick off your shoes when you enter the home. I think our grandparents were right. We used to make fun of them that we need to keep our shoes off, but keeping your shoes out at the door will prevent you dragging a lot of unwanted guests, like pesticides, dust. It can also prevent you from dragging in dog poop. So it has a lot of things. Second action, sweat it out. Sweat is great. Whether through exercise or you're hitting the sauna, sweat will get rid and will flush your toxins. Third, get rid of your plastics. Even BPA-free products will still contain products or chemicals that are harmful, like microplastics and other products. So I would suggest for you to invest in a reusable stainless steel bottle. Fourth, scrub those hands and scrub your veggies and your fruits. It's not only about the germs. There are other harmful chemicals and heavy metals that are not supposed to be on our skin or in our food. And finally, the key action is to be curious. If something is bothering you, don't accept the status quo. Ask questions, challenge it, be irritating. Sometimes the most annoying questions will give you the best answer. And change will not happen unless we see a problem and we try to fix it and ask why did it happen to start with. So never lose your spark of curiosity. It's your superpower. It will fuel every great discovery. Thank you.